has started properly, so we can actually start. I'm eager to start.
Okay, so just double check if you can.
Yes. We are live. So hello everybody, and welcome to our webinar. So we are live both on our webinar platform and also on our YouTube channel. So for our viewers on YouTube, so if you would like to ask questions to us, so please register by the link you see in the description of the stream. And then you will be able actually to type your questions. So today we speak about digital identity. Welcome. My name is Olena Gryniuk. I will be a host today, and my guest is Václav Mladěnka, Customer Identity Leader at Monet Plus. Hello, Václav, and welcome.
Hello everyone. Hello, Olena. Thanks for warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Yes, pleasure to have you. So before we go to the topic, let me shortly mention organizational information. So we are planning a webinar schedule for 45 minutes. We are recording this webinar, so right after we finish, you will receive link to the video and the presentation. And we start now from the presentation, but you are very welcome to type your questions during the presentation, and we can answer them even during Václav will be presenting. So let's go to the topic. So as I mentioned, today we speak about digital identity, and this is we talk about Václav with you very actively recently and during our latest SME banking conversations, and now as this is a really crucial, I would say, and basic element of the digital transformation. So let's focus today during this webinar on how to build a modern digital identity solution that will be compliant with all the regulations, that will be at reasonable costs, and also that can help launch and sell new products fast so that banks can easily monetize it. So Václav, I'm passing the word to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have a bit of presentation, and I don't want to go too much to the detail. I just would like to maybe share with you some of the user experience examples. Have a look on what we went through on the market. Maybe think about the overall approach. Not really talking about the technology, and maybe show one or two examples from real life how this could be also utilized beyond banking. So that's shortly it. I mean, the presentation will be probably in these three little areas. So please feel to ask questions, and we'll come back to them once we go. So I'll just try to share my screen. So hopefully this will work.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so you can hopefully see the screen, so I can maybe talk about and use it to let's say add some of the ideas and that we have. So in just summary, and what we are talking about today is why we are talking about digital identity. I believe that we all are in a situation that we want to utilize the digital channels that are available to help us to improve our business in terms of probably higher efficiency, maybe to introduce lower transaction costs, be at the customer when they need it, so almost 24/7, and maybe have a even better control of the process in terms of how we are in terms of digital transactions. We as a Monet Plus, we highly focus on digital identity because we believe that as part of the digitalization, which is a huge number of topics that can be involved, but we believe that the identity is a crucial pillar, because at the end of the day, it starts with you as a person, And also at the end of the day, when you're discussing about signing a contract, performing a transaction, at the end of the day, you are the person, you need to confirm, sign, you are the one that is initiating it. So digital identity is a crucial part of the digital ecosystem. I'm sorry. So maybe have a look a bit of internet banking and what we've seen in internet banking evolution. I mean, we do have a number of topics about client onboarding, stuff like that. I'm absolutely agree that is important part, but today I maybe would like to give a bit of focus on the day-to-day interaction of the client, not really the onboarding process, but the day-to-day interaction of current customers and current users of the internet banking. Sorry, I do have a little bit sore throat, so hopefully this will not impact too much. So maybe have a look with you on and how we went to the day-to-day interaction. I mean, looking back at 5 years ago, in the internet banking channels, we seen that, okay, you as a customer had to use a client number and probably a password to get into the online applications. I mean, sometimes client identification number was sometimes causing difficulties in terms of remembering it and causing some of the stress to the users. So one of the changes was maybe to change it to a username that the user can simply remember and use it. and to use it very effectively in terms of the digital banking platform. So that was a little change, but impacted quite a lot. And as the time goes, we even had to change the password to something stronger. That is, for example, an OTP code that's either distributed by SMS, or SMS is one of the best examples because the mobile devices, this was something that we can pretty much use. Obviously, security of the SMS codes, it's very limited. It's slightly better than to have the simple password, but it's better because you have the other devices involved. You have something that is, you call your security telephone number, but still the protection of the code and the mobile devices in terms of SMS, it's very limited. So as the time goes, we even had a discussion about PSD2 and some of the requirements where let's do the user identification first. So just remove the password or TP code insert on the login page and just ask for identification of the user first. But sometimes we had to resolve situation that I believe then this is my user account and I'm trying to log in, and I was trying to maybe access another person's user account. So we had to implement something to prevent user enumeration and blocking. So there was a need to implement something that will identify the user. So for example, date of birth or any other specific information that was tied to the customer. And once he or she went through the procedure, we were open to, let's say, involve a password, and in next phase maybe to put the second factor, which could be on the mobile devices, for example, on the mobile key application that can simply be used to log in. So this regulation stuff and user expectations is impacting quite significantly what we are doing in terms of changing our channels and digital banking applications. We even believe that what we can even simplify and improve the security on the login process on the internet banking account, simply just forgetting these typing of the information and going to not only passwordless, but even going to nicknameless. And we can do that in number of ways with the mobile devices, that is out of the band channel, that is, you can, for example, scan a QR code on the login page, or even with a hardware token that obviously you will not probably scan a QR code with some of the smart cards or OTP passwords, but still you can use a simple button to go passwordless or even nicknameless to the login banking application. I'm sorry for my voice today. So one of the things I wanted to explain what's behind and what we are helping banks to achieve is a concept of one identity that will simplify the life of the users as well as to the bank, to changing the portfolio of their channels and users. Having a look at the traditional landscape of the bank services, I mean, we do have a number of products. We do have saving accounts, we do have cards, we do have insurance, we do have deposit lending, many products, many channels, even maybe having different approach to retail customers, different portals to corporate customers. And through the history, we had to implement identification, user identification, authentication, authorization, all the security stuff to the portals. Where we believe at Monet Plus, this it's not long-term sustainable. It's generate inflexibility, it generates costs, and it's difficult to manage. We believe that having a look at the digital identity as a standalone pillar or a banking product can be used to help the digital identity lifecycle and management through all the banking products and through all banking applications. So we are really focusing on make it happen, that you can focus on your business side of your products and developing your applications. And we're focusing more on make it happen, make it use whenever you need client onboarding, client identification, authentication, signature, or security level assurance. So that can be pretty much done on the digital identity side. You can imagine that, for example, you may be using Google or any other cloud service providers. You can sometimes use the Google, Facebook account to access any third-party service. So you can really imagine that this digital identity is a service similarly provided by the Google. I believe it's important, and the real life use cases and examples really demonstrate that it has significant benefits to the cluster, to the clients, to the end user customers, because, for example, the single sign-on features improve the day-to-day interactions. I mean, if I need to use more application, more channels, I don't need to again use the login procedures, which sometimes may be difficult to go through or not so straightforward. And also for the banking product managers and channel owners, I'm sorry, it improves the way how new products can be delivered and how the changes can be delivered, because obviously you don't need to focus so much in delivering on the identity lifecycle, because that's covered by another team, another portfolio. So you just really focus on your business side. So at the end of the day, for the bank's perspective, it helps reduce costs on the changes and how you need to implement it, either improving or opening new business channel, or implementing regulation requirements, or maybe changing the security levels of your channels. implementing it or creating such a landscape or portfolio, we can even open new businesses beyond the traditional banking and essentially change what is usually or was historically perceived as a cost stream, and obviously security is sometimes perceived as a cost stream. That change it a bit, that from the perspective that if we are investing to the security, we can even open new business use cases that can help us to identify and generate new revenue streams. This can be especially on the strategic partnerships that you're thinking about with third-party companies that are providing complementary products. Or one of the examples are beyond banking scenarios in the whole connected economy. And I would like to maybe show one of the examples that works pretty well in the Czech Republic. So that's pretty much in the summary, in the one identity behind. I don't want to go too much to the detail, the technical detail, but maybe just for you to think about it. So one of the maybe one of the real life examples that I wanted to share with you today is about how we in the Czech Republic can use banking identity to connect to the, for example, government services. And I do have a video here, but I'll probably, what I'll do is I'll try to show you real life. So that could be maybe a better for you. So I believe that what I'm having here is the citizens portal in the Czech Republic that we're having, and through the portal I can access number of government services. And I just, as a person, I wanted to use it. So first I need to log in. So I'm choosing the citizen's identity to log in. As you can see, the citizen portal enables or provides number of means or ways how I can authenticate myself using the ID card that I'm having. There is still an option to use username, password, and SMS code, but only for certain types of websites. There is obviously a mobile key of the government. And one of the important thing I wanted to share with you is the bank identity. So I can use my bank identity, my bank account to connect to the government portals. So I can simply choose any of the bank of the list that we're having here. I'll probably just try to use the first one on the list, which is our bank, just to connect to the portal. So now you can see I'm on the login page. I need to now open my mobile device and open the application. And now I need to choose the option that I would like to log into the internet banking. So just a second, please. So it asks me to scan the QR code, and I just need to confirm that it's me who is trying to log in. Yeah, and so now it's closed on the mobile device, and on the beginning, the background, there is an interaction between the bank and the citizen portal, enabling me to log into the citizen portal. So now, as you can see, that I'm logging in. It's me under the portal, and I can essentially choose what I need to do with the government. There is a number of services that I can use. So just little example how I can use the internet banking account to use it with a third-party application. So just a summary. We've been on the citizen login page. We choose a banking banking account to log in. Obviously, there is some steps that need to happen before. We've been transferred to the bank login page. We went through the login procedure with the bank, and now we are in the portal of the bank. So pretty straightforward. I haven't really talked too much about the security and about the compliance. It's not the topic today. I just want to share with you that it needs to be an integral part of it. We now protecting over 10 million users via the solution Monet. So there is a crucial part of it, and we're really working hard to make it work. But maybe just on the technical pillars that are behind and that make all it work. So it's really about authentication methods that you can use. It's about identity federation that enables the one identity concept approach. It's about flexibility of flow control, authentication flow control, that we can change the steps of the authentication process as we go through, and maybe there are some different situations where you need higher security, sometimes you need less security. So this is especially important in these areas. And obviously, we are in a very regulated environment, so we really need to work hard to maintain our audit trails and logs of what's happening in the background. And obviously, app security is something that is crucial part of the mobile web landscape. So these are just pillars that enabling all these together work. And maybe what from our experience is worth to considering in terms it makes interesting to you. We believe that it's fair to consider how federated architecture can help you in a business, especially if you have more applications, if you are in a discussion of changing some of the application, if you are required to change of the security level or implement new security methods. This is good points to consider the federated architecture and maybe consider as well the one identity approach, because it may pays off to implement the identity as a service, not only for this one application, not only for one security method, but implement it maybe on wide variety of services and solutions. Maybe for authorities is also, but this is more on the country level. Consider how the national ID versus the bank ID scheme may work. What's the legal framework behind, and what's the technology framework behind. So this is probably out of the topic today, but for the banking level that might be relevant. So that's it from the just the maybe a little of context. Maybe there are a number of questions that comes to your mind, so feel free to open the discussion.
Yes. Thank you very much, Václav, for the presentation. We had actually comments here while you were presenting about the QR code logins. Thank you, Martin and Andre, for your comments that there are other alternatives with Fluent UX for a journey compared to the QR code. I'm generally actually a fan of passwordless logins because I constantly forget my passwords. My question to you will be, the first is about this passwordless solution. So the example you showed with QR code. And so my question is here, what does it actually take from the bank to implement such solutions? Meaning that for the ones that have already digital onboarding and have implemented this strong authentication process with usernames, passwords, OTP calls, or SMS confirmations. Is it an easy, or does it take a really big resources to either add it as additional way of login or change it for a passwordless, because this is really a better user experience than putting these three credentials while logging in all the time, from your experience?
Well, yes. I wouldn't say it's a piece of cake, because it's highly depend on the what you have within your organization. I mean, there are two things that needs to be considered. The one thing is the technology. Obviously, you can have more mature to less mature technological solutions that can be implemented or can be used, or you can reuse something that you have already. And the other thing is on the processes, the customer journeys that needs to be think about. So it's obviously both technological and business cooperation that is required here to make it really work for the users. I've showed the example of the QR code. There are obviously a number of other ways of doing it. I just use this as one of the examples. One of the thing is okay. It's this one is probably something that you can use with combination the mobile and the web. The other way would be that I'm on the mobile devices. I'm not even using the laptop or think I want to all make it happen in the mobile devices. So obviously QR code is not working here. It doesn't make any sense. So there needs to be some other alternative options that you can make it really work on the mobile devices. So I really see a number of potentials within the in-app or app-to-app communication on the mobile devices. The other thing to consider is that the mobile devices is great device, and 80-90% of the clients will love to use it, but still there are some clients or users that for some reason they don't want to or they cannot use it. So really just to think about what are the alternatives and how can this simply work with you.
Okay. I do encourage our attendees to type your questions if you have ones. And my next question to you, Václav, will be about the single identity or one identity that you mentioned. I think this will be, or I see it probably, that this should be a next step of the digital identity solutions, or also user experiences, because first of all, if we talk about business customers, we do see that around 20% of the banks have digital onboarding of business customers. So this is still a job to do by a number of the banks here in the CE region. But the next step that you mentioned with one single digital identity is actually what I think customers will expect or expecting already, because this can really be frustrating that we can have even different digital identities within one organization, or when we are logging in one bank, or then, for example, login to another bank, there should be some additional checks, etc. So this is, yes, from the customer user experience, this is not a seamless process. So what should be done to implement this single identity across organizations, and what is your prediction when this will be available in our region?
Easy and tough question in the same time. Thank you for it. Just speaking as a person, I would be happy if I'm opening new digital service. I don't want to set up new password. I'm lost in my passwords already, and I'm even try to use some passwords wallet and stuff like that. But I'm lost with that already. So this number of services growing, and it can't go this this way forever. So I'm happy to see that on the market, in terms of the regulation, there is things happening. That there is from the EU and from the government, there are some steps visible, even with the ADAS activities and number of things. That is consolidating the market, enforcing the regulation landscape to enable such a use cases, such as scenarios. And also from the technology perspective, I'm happy to see that the standards in terms of digital identities are pretty well established and works pretty well in terms of, I mentioned Google, but I could mention also any other services like the cloud services that are provided by the global brands. So I really see that there is all the requirement, all the prerequisites in terms of technology, in terms of regulation are going towards it. So there is for us as a technology providers, we need to work with you guys to make it happen in terms of creating solutions that are easy to implement. And from the parent bank's perspective or service provider perspective, it's really to think about it seriously, because it's going to happen in very near future.
So is it feasible for, I don't know, for the nearest 2-3 years? What is your prediction?
Absolutely. I would love to see it.
Okay, you're optimistic. Okay. We have some questions from the attendees. Yes, a comment from Martin that biometry, yes, as one of the passwordless solution, of course, on the mobile devices. A question from Martin: are you, as Manage Plus, provide your own products or services?
Yes, we do. We provide essentially products covering we're focusing on two things, I would say, in terms of digital identity. It's authentication methods. So it's mobile as authentication device and hardware. So we're trying to focus on the strong customer authentication. And the second thing is identity federation concepts especially for banking. So how to enable this digital identity as a banking product, how to consolidate onboarding, how to consolidate user identification, authentication processes, authorizations. So all the security related.
Mm-hmm. Okay, question from Magdi: is this technology widely accepted from third parties, such as banks and vendors?
Well, it is based on open standards. It depends country to country. It depends on the providers. But as I mentioned, there's a cloud service providers that obviously going this way. There is number of activities in terms of regulation and government activities that are moving towards this direction. In terms of banking and interacting banks and third parties, this really needs to be probably a discussion on the local or company to company basis. But we believe this is a trend that is moving the whole market.
Mm-hmm. We have a comment from Benny about regarding OneID, that a hack would result in serious breach of personal information. Such steps should include much more rigorous steps to ensure the right person has the access. Yes.
Absolutely. Security matters here for sure. But let's be honest, I mean, in terms of any digital services, you need to take, especially if you have some sensitive data, you need to take the security seriously. And if you are already investing to it, just investing in a way that you can reuse it, it's much more wiser decision than you really investing to something that you cannot reuse in a way. So we believe, yes, the security is an issue, and we're working hard every day to make it work. So it's like never-ending fight because the changing of the technologies and the approaches. But yeah, it's a concern.
What banks should do? What are your recommendations to implement the digital identity, the one that you were talking about? So as a separate separate product, and to be able to provide it as digital identity as a service. So what does it take for banks?
It really depends how complex your environment is. I mean, I would say that if you're a small bank that having one or two channels in probably pretty much working on an isolated island, it doesn't really make much sense, or the business case will be quite difficult to let's say to make it work. But on the other hand, if you're an organization that have probably more portals, more applications, you are in a phase that you are reviewing what you have, that you need to perform some changes in terms of security, in terms of applications, then it's probably a good thing to think about it.
We have a question from Benny, and probably this will be the last one. Who are your prominent competitors in the region, and what is your USP?
I'm not sure I'm getting USP, so
selling proposition.
Explain a bit. That would be much appreciated. Well, in terms of competition, I mean,
what differentiates you on the market?
Well, in terms of competitors, we do have a significant number of competitors on the local and in the global aspect as well. As I mentioned, the things that this is changing the market, the regulation. So really, big players, even small companies, are following this trend. What we believe are very strong at, and the customers we getting feedback is, first thing, we focusing significantly on the banking use cases. So that's the first thing. Second thing is we recognize and understand that all of our customers are different. So there is no one way how to implement it, because you have your services, you have your processes, you have your customer journeys. So we delivering the solution as a platform which can really choose and really effectively modify it in terms of what fits you the best from the whole solution. So these are, I believe, the two crucial differentiators.
Okay. So we don't have questions. Thank you very much for your engagement and for your comments and for your questions. Thank you very much, Václav, for your presentation. Thank you all for being so early with us, and see you next time online during the next webinars. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Have a perfect day.
Have a good day.